Hi Ocean Room. This is your shared reading video for this Monday. Remember, here's your I can statement. I can connect information I learn across a text. The red hot words this week is connect across text. Remember how we connect? We use our hands as chains, staying connected from what happens earlier in the text to help you understand what you're reading now. That's what it is. When readers connect across the text, they remember what happened earlier in the text to help them understand what they are reading now. How? You ask yourself, is there anything you learned earlier that can help you to understand what's going on now in the story? And then why you have to do this? Good readers connect across the text to help them understand the whole text. Today, for your shared reading, we are reading the story Alexander Graham Bell, a Great Inventor. And throughout this story, I want you to think about how can a great idea change the way we live? That is what I want you to be thinking about, okay? You ready? Let's begin. Alexander Graham Bell, a Great Inventor, was written by Lynn Blatton, illustrated by Guy Francis. Here's a timeline of his early life. 1847, he was born in Scotland. 1861, he invented the wheat dehusker. 1863, he teaches music at school for boys. At 1863, he teaches speech for deaf children. Alexander Graham Bell was born in Scotland in 1847. His family called him Alec for short. His mom was deaf. His dad helped deaf boys and girls learn how to speak. Alec liked playing music. His mom taught him how to play the piano at an early age. She could not hear, but that did not stop her. She played quite well. Soon Alec started teaching others how to play. So I'm going to stop here. And I'm thinking, in 1863, the timeline, it states that he was a teacher for speech for deaf children. And then now we're learning that his mom, being deaf, taught him how to play. Let's continue on. Alec's dad helped deaf boys and girls learn to speak well. Alec liked watching his dad teach. He decided he wanted to teach speech to deaf people too, just like his dad. So, Ocean Room, you have to understand where he was probably inspired to be a teacher. You have his mom that is deaf, taught him how to play piano. And then his father, being a teacher, also. Oh my goodness, he has two parents that are teachers. No wonder why he may have gotten inspired. See how we're connecting the text? As a teen, Alec liked studying the science of sound. But what he liked best was inventing new things. He daydreamed about things he could make. Alec invented a useful tool. It took husks off wheat stalks with a brush. He also built a gadget that made it seem as if his dog could talk. So I'm going to stop here for a minute. Alec, how do you know that Alexander is smart? As a good reader, how can we think of all these things? That he's smart? Well, I'll tell you one. He's learned how to teach deaf kids. And not only that, but because he was taught from his mom, who was also deaf. So he had to learn, I'm thinking as a good reader, how to communicate with somebody who's deaf, since his mother was. Then he teaches deaf children. And lastly, he's played music from a deaf teacher, and now he is inventing things. He's super smart, isn't he, Ocean Room? Here's a new part of the timeline. New home. In 1870, he goes to Canada. In 1871, A year later, he goes to Boston. And then 2 years after that, he starts spending more time inventing. When he was 23, Alec Bell got awfully sick. He left his boyhood home. He and his family went to Canada. They hoped he would get well in this new place, and he did. Then Bell went to Boston in the United States. He taught speech for deaf students like his dad did. So right now, Ocean Room, we're going to stop right here for learning the life of Alexander Graham Bell. And what I want you to think about is, how can inventions change the way we live today? So right now, I want you to click on the Google document underneath here, and I want you to work on your constructive response. We have to remember, you restate an answer, you cite what your work, and then you have evidence. And remember, you have to use 5-star writing, okay? Use capital letters, use your ending mark, 2-finger spacing. Make sure your sentences make sense, and no chicken scratch, but neat writing. All right, until tomorrow. Bye.